Okay, well, pivot tables are the most powerful feature that we have in Excel. It allows us to take 1,000 rows or 10,000 rows or 100,000 rows and create a one-page summary, usually in about 5 or 6 clicks. They've been around for a while. It actually debuted maybe in a product called Javelin a long time ago, and then Lotus Improv. Microsoft added them back in Excel 93, and they've been making them better every year, or every new version of Excel. They add some nice improvements to pivot tables, including in Excel 2010. All right, so we have our data set here. Let's say that we'd like to create a report showing total revenue by region and product. We're literally 6 clicks away from creating that report. So we go to the Insert tab. That's our first click, by the way, clicking on Insert and then clicking on Pivot Table. Now they look at where the data is, A1 to H564, provided you have no blank rows, no blank columns. They're going to get this right. I'm going to allow the pivot table to be created on a new worksheet. So we do our third click, click OK. And here's what we get. We have a list of fields and a list of 4 drop zones. So column labels are the items that we want to have go across the report. See that little row of yellow cells there? That's where the column labels are going to go. Row labels are the text fields that go down the left side of the report, and then the sum values are where the numeric fields go. Now we'll talk about report filter much later, but for right now we're going to deal with these 3 drop zones. We want to create a report again showing revenue by region and product. Now revenue, because revenue is a numeric field, there's no blanks in that data and no text values in that data. I can just check mark revenue, and Microsoft assumes that I want to sum the revenue, and they assume that it goes in the sum values. Next I will check mark the region field. Now because that's a text field, they assume that I want to put it down the left hand side in the row labels. And then finally the product field. Now I don't want product to go down the side, I want product to go across the top. So I actually drag that field and drop it in the column labels area. Alright, so now take a look at this. I did not create a single formula. Before the days of pivot tables, this would have been horrible. This would have been at least an @dsum function and possibly a data table too in order to replicate that formula throughout the table. Not to mention, I would have had to build the report with row labels of East, Central, West, and column labels of A, B, C, D, E, F, and X, Y, Z. I would have had to figure out what products we had, what regions we had. You don't have to do that here. You just simply insert pivot table OK and choose the fields, and Microsoft figures out what values should be in the report and builds a report for you, and most importantly gets you the answers at the intersection of all of those values. Certainly a very, very easy way to go. Added tremendous power to spreadsheets when they added pivot tables. Now in the future lessons we'll be looking at a lot more things that we can do with pivot tables, how to change a pivot table, and so on. But this lesson was just kind of your first look at pivot tables. Again, 6 clicks in order to create this data. Now one real important comment here is it works best if your underlying data is just boring transactional data. You don't want totals, you don't want months going across, you just want ugly data, and you will have the best results from your pivot table. Well, I hope you found this lesson helpful, and thanks for watching.